Those are just some of the chants and pleas from more than 160 activists calling for the Texas state legislature to take action on gun laws. Some of those faces, the family members of the children of Uvalde, whose lives were cut short last May at the Robb Elementary mass shooting. The one-year mark of that Uvalde massacre is now just days away, and still, as the nation saw just this past weekend, mass shootings remain all too common in this country. America has more than 390 million weapons in circulation, according to a 2018 survey. That's more guns than people in this country. And when it comes to the recent spate of mass shootings in Texas, mental health is what Governor Greg Abbott claims is at the center of the issue. But there are those within his state's legislature who are arguing for more to be done, and they can be found on both sides of the aisle. In our prime focus tonight, we're in Texas with activists pushing for solutions, family members still reeling from losing loved ones, and Republican and Democratic lawmakers who are hoping that their partnership could usher in some change. ABC's Mireya Villarreal has the story.
8 people killed after a shooter armed with an AR-15 style rifle opens fire in an outdoor mall north of Dallas. Another massacre in Texas, adding to the growing list of mass shootings across the country.
Guns down inside the school. Shooter is down now as well.
Let's go!
Including a school shooting in Nashville, Tennessee. Another in a bank in Louisville, Kentucky. And 5 people killed in a home in Cleveland, Texas. Already nearly 200 of them so far this year. The Gun Violence Archive defining a mass shooting as 4 or more victims shot or killed. Grieving families across the country have become activists.
Raise the age! Raise the age!
With the goal of pushing lawmakers to take action on gun reform.
They're gutless. We're not here. I'm talking about gun violence.
And those same lawmakers sometimes pushed to the brink.
All their children are dying.
Frustration and emotion boiling over across party lines.
This was the route that he took that day.
He came down this hallway, he took a right, didn't go into the first room and walked into the second room, and that's where he started.
On the other side of these doors, 17-year-old Chris Stone took his last breath. A fellow student opening fire at Santa Fe High School just outside Houston in May 2018.
I just remember getting the call from his best friend telling me that, Mama Stone, you need to get to the school because they said Chris got shot.
Tell me what you know of that day with him.
He saved 7 kids that day in the art room. They tried to break down the back door, and they were unsuccessful. He held the door shut, and from my understanding, they struggled at the door a little bit. Chris wouldn't let them in, and so that's when the killer took a step back and shot him through the door.
5 years later, sitting just steps away from where the shooting began, Chris's mother and other families worry that despite shooting after shooting, no real change will happen in a pro-gun state like Texas.
I'm a conservative Republican, yes.
Conservative Republican. It kind of surprises me that you would say something like, we need to have a conversation about guns and about gun legislation reform.
Right. Yes. Any change is better than nothing. I may not agree with everything, what everybody's fighting for, but any kind of change is better than nothing. And if that's what they believe in, I support them.
The school in Santa Fe reopened. The once red tiles reminding students of blood have been painted green, and security has been tightened. But Yana Stone says that's where the changes stopped, and it's simply not enough.
They care more about guns than children. They care more about money than our future.
State Senator Roland Gutierrez, a Democrat who represents Uvalde, introducing a slew of gun legislation bills after the shooting there, including raising the minimum age to purchase a semi-automatic rifle from 18 to 21, extreme risk protective orders, and expanding safe storage requirements. He says he knows full well that most of his proposals don't stand a chance.
We're never going to legislate this thing away, but we have to make it harder. And in Texas, we've not done anything to make it harder. Republicans have done absolutely nothing to make it harder.
New nationwide polling shows 58% of those polled support stricter gun laws in the U.S., 93% support background checks for all gun buyers, and 73% support raising the minimum age to buy any gun to 21 years old. Some families have pointed to other conservative states like Florida as an example of swift action across party lines. Just 21 days after a shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida in 2018, then Republican Governor Rick Scott signed into law a comprehensive bipartisan bill that included red flag warning laws and raising the minimum age to buy a gun from 18 to 21. So many have asked if a state like Florida could do it back then. Why not Texas now? This legislative session, over 100 bills were introduced on gun reform in Texas. No more than 2 have made it out of committee.
Some people will say having a Republican and a Democrat in one room just doesn't happen all that often.
Happens in Texas. Representative Moody and I are, obviously have worked on many things together and consider him a friend and a good person.
Republican State Representative Dustin Burrows and Democratic State Representative Joe Moody sat on a special legislative committee that came together in the wake of the Uvalde mass shooting and are now working together on community safety.
I certainly couldn't have asked for a better partner in doing the work. It was incredibly important work.
Burrows and Moody co-authored a bill that got support from dozens of their colleagues in both parties, as well as from Texas Governor Greg Abbott. But the bill focused on school safety. It wasn't about gun reform.
Can we see what happened in Florida potentially happen here? Could we see a change in the age of being able to purchase these styles of weapon?
I do think there's probably a constitutional impediment from denying of 21, the same rights as somebody over the age of 21.
It's important to those families to have that conversation about raising the age because it absolutely implicates what happened in Uvalde.
And his property was
Texas resident Cristina Delgado feels so strongly about gun reform, she left her day job to fight for families who have lost loved ones.
Why are we not seeing what parents, families, communities are asking for, then being translated in Austin at the legislature? Why are politicians delaying this?
It's just the political game. This is not a political issue. This is not a partisan issue. This is a human issue. This is a public health issue.
During this legislative session, Delgado is in Austin working with the Community Justice Action Fund, now helping Uvalde families navigate the political process to affect change.
When people say that's never going to happen, though, in Texas, we're going to keep our guns, we're going to hold true to our rights, how do you respond to that?
We can all keep our guns, and the majority of us here in Texas are gun owners and gun-owning families. But there are responsibilities that we all have, not just as parents, not just as Texans, but as Americans, and more importantly, as gun owners, to really stand by those responsibilities.
After losing their daughter, 10-year-old Tess Mata, in the Robb Elementary School shooting last year, Veronica and Jerry Mata are demanding something be done from legislators. They, along with several other families in Uvalde, have joined the fight to change Texas, somehow finding time to visit Austin nearly every week, meeting with any lawmaker who is willing to hear them out.
It's exhausting. It's exhausting. I get up. It's already hard enough to get up to go to work every single day. And then I'm at school and I'm in my classroom and then you hear that there's another shooting. And I sit there and I look at my kids in my classroom and I wonder, is that gonna be us next time?
So many are haunted by that same question. Our thanks to Mireya Villarreal for that. Just a few hours ago, those 2 lawmakers in the piece were successful after their committee managed to pass a bill to raise the age to purchase an AR-15 from 18 to 21. That bill still needs to be voted on by the full House.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.